Okay, I'm back again. Jerry from Golden Rain Fellowship. Looking forward to sharing some of these things with you that I've learned over the years. I want to talk about perfection for a second before I get into this topic. Obedience creates a perfect heart is what we're going to talk about. But one of the things that people misunderstand is they think that their perfection is something that where you're just almost like you're walking on a cloud or something. That you're so perfect you can't say anything wrong, do anything wrong, be anything wrong, whatever. Okay, perfect heart. Okay, it's described like this. The Lord said about King David that he was a man after his own heart. That's what a perfect heart is. A perfect heart is wanting to do God's will. That's a perfect heart. Moses was told, walk before me and be thou perfect. And then in Matthew, at the end of the Beatitudes, it turns around and there's somewhere in there, it turns around and talks about be perfect even as your Father in heaven is perfect. Those are the things. It's a perfect heart is the desire to do God's will. And God's perfect heart is he wants you to do his will. That's his perfect heart. I want to read some of this to you and share some of this right now. Obedience creates a perfect heart. And when Abraham was 90 years old and 9, and the Lord appeared to Abraham and said, I am the Almighty God. Walk before me and be thou perfect. In Deuteronomy 18:13 it says, thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God. Matthew 5:48, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. See, I've already said some of these things, okay, I guess from memory. 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 61, let your heart therefore be perfect with the Lord our God, to walk in his statutes and keep his commandments as at this day. See, that's what it's talking about. It's talking about your heart. Let your heart be perfect. That's what it's talking about. Your heart is perfect when it's wanting to do the will of God. Now, sometimes we strive with trying to do the will of God. And sometimes we strive because we don't know the will of God and we get a little antsy about it. King David had a perfect heart. Acts chapter 13:22. And when he had removed him, he raised up unto them David to be their king, to whom also he gave testimony and said, I have found David, the son of Jesse, a man after mine own heart, which shall fulfill all my will. That's the desire that we need to have. King Solomon did not have a perfect heart. He was drawn away by possessions. In 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 4, for it came to pass when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods. And his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father. Doing God's will. 1 Chronicles 12:38. All of these men of war that could not keep rank came with a perfect heart. In other words, they wanted to come and follow and to make David king. They all came with that perfect heart and unison to make King David, and all the rest also of Israel were one heart to make David king. That's an amazing thing. Solomon was instructed to have this perfect heart. In 1 Chronicles 28:9, and thou, Solomon, my son, know thou that the God of thy father, and serve him with a perfect heart and with a willing mind. For the Lord searcheth all hearts and understands all the imagination of the thoughts. If you seek him, he will be found of thee. But if you forsake him, he will cast thee off. Here again, I wrote this here. We're here again doing God's will. 1 Chronicles 29:9. Then the people rejoiced that they had offered willingly, because with perfect heart they offered willingly to God, and David the king had rejoiced with great joy. King David prayed that his son would serve God with a perfect heart. 1 Chronicles 21:19. And give unto, he's praying for his son, and give, this is David praying for Solomon, and give unto Solomon my son a perfect heart, to keep thy commandments, thy testimonies, thy statutes, and do all these things, to build the palace for he which I have made provision. See, David was a man of war, and he was not allowed, he had blood on his hands, so he was not allowed to build the dwelling place for the Lord. what his son Solomon was. Solomon was a man of peace. Anyway, 2 Chronicles 16:9, for the eyes of God run to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward him. Herein thou hast done foolishly, therefore from henceforth thou shalt have wars. Now that's a statement for somebody else, but okay, the statement that I'm looking at is to show himself strong on behalf of them whose heart is perfect towards him. God is strong towards those that want to do his will. David states he will serve God with a perfect heart. Psalm 101:2. I will behave myself wisely in a perfect way. O when wilt thou come unto me? I will walk within my house with a perfect heart. Perfect heart. Now, I wrote this on the bottom. Herein is a challenge for all of us, to walk with a perfect heart, to obey all the Lord without hesitation, show us in his word, and to fulfill what he has planned for our lives. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful words. Words of comfort, words of encouragement, words of blessing. So I encourage you, okay, seek the Lord that you might have a perfect heart. Ask him for different things. I ask him for different things. I want to have a pure heart. Perfect, pure heart. I want to have a right spirit. And then I want to be able to do his will. And I pray that prayer, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread as we forgive those, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory.